A huge clash at the Bernabeu lies in wait for Manchester City as they try to get past the 13-time European champions Real Madrid. This Wednesday in the first leg of the round of 16, it's going to be a cracking game, particularly given where Real Madrid have just suddenly found themselves in the last two games.
Yeah, I mean, if I was really looking forward, well, all the games, but the PSG game at Dortmund was like a real one that whetted the appetite. But arguably, this is even better, you know, and the pressure is really on. I suppose both teams, and although Zidane's had some great success winning it 3 times in a row, there's still a pressure there, as you mentioned. They lost to Levante at the weekend. Wasn't a great performance. I thought Courtois was culpable again in the goal. You can get at that defence. They'll be saying the same about Man City, to be fair. You can get at that defence. I expect City, even at the Bernabeu, Ross, to dominate possession. To just the way they play. To shift it about, to try and shift it quick. But from Zidane's perspective, you know, I think he'll be looking at how do they stop De Bruyne? You know, they've got to snuff him out. If you don't snuff him out, then he can pick those passes for Aguero. It's an intriguing game. City, obviously, they've got no worries in the league. They're going to finish in the top 4. We don't know what that's going to mean for them in terms of the Champions League because of what's going on. But they are going to finish in the top 4. They won at Leicester at the weekend. Wasn't the prettiest of games. Laporte's back involved. That's a bonus for them. I think he's okay. He should be fine. I fancy City just slightly over the 2 legs if they don't do what they did, particularly in the knockout round at Liverpool when they went to Anfield and just completely shot themselves in the foot defensively. If they do that, then there's no argument Real Madrid will win.
When City came into this round, of course, it was all about, well, we've got a really tough tie there, but this is going to be our main focus for the season. The title was sort of ebbing away. Now the title's effectively gone, and we've had all of this stuff come out with the UEFA fines and the bans. Is their back against the wall? Are they going into this saying, you know what, the world's against us, UEFA's against us, we're in the home of the illustrious Real Madrid. This is where we make our presence count. Isn't this the best possible thing that could have happened?
Well, potentially. Potentially. If they could, I don't know what they're saying in that dressing room. They could be saying, look, let's win this competition and then see if they're going to ban the winners. You know what I mean? Let's stuff it to them. But ultimately it'll come down to other factors, what's decided by UEFA and the courts. There could be a sense of the siege mentality for them. There could be. However, the one thing I'd say about City, if they get the defensive structure correct, we know they've not been able to do it over the course of a season, and we know they've had injuries. But if they can get it correct over the course of 180 minutes, which is what this tie will be, they're a better footballing side than anybody else in the competition. Footballing side.
It's game management. It's two-legged management. And it almost caught them at Leicester at the weekend again when Fernandinho and Vardy got left one-on-one at the back and Tielemans put him in and he should have opened the scoring. When we're dominating games, don't leave the back door open because you'll get punished. It happened at Liverpool, it's happened this season in the Premier League, and it will certainly happen at Real Madrid. So I think the focus for them has to be, we know we can outplay teams and we will create chances, but we need to focus on getting the basic defending correct when we're in possession. That's where they get caught. It's when they're in possession and they're off, not thinking about what's around them, and then bang, somebody's in behind. It's cost them before, and it could cost them again unless they sort that out. If they do, I think they've got a great chance. Real Madrid are liable defensively, and sometimes this season they've not looked so great going forward. Some star turns aside, they've struggled to find that cohesive unit that's been able to sort of regularly dominate games and feel comfortable in the lead. Not saying they haven't got results, because they have. No Eden Hazard, but is Zidane going to get that team focused enough to believe that they can get the better of City, even though City, as you say, might dominate?
I don't think belief for this Real Madrid side's a problem. I don't. I just think that Casemiro, Kroos, Modric in midfield haven't got the legs to get around from say 2-3 years ago. Hazard's he's got a hairline fracture, we believe, or something similar, so he's definitely out. Gareth Bale was back in the side and then wasn't around at the weekend again. What the hell's going to happen with him? Nobody knows. So there are a few question marks over Real Madrid. The one question mark I wouldn't have is over their ability to, when their backs are against the wall, particularly at Bernabeu, to get some results. Now, they've had some good refereeing decisions in recent years. I'm thinking the Bayern Munich game. They had the rub of the green like you'll never believe in that game 2 or 3 years ago, whenever it was.
With Vidal and such.
Oh, it was horrendous. I mean, there was offside goals and there was people who should have been sent off. It was one of those. Wow, I'm sure that's not going to happen again. Let's hope we have a clean game. Two great sides. I think Man City are the better of the two sides. It just comes down to City's defence. If they switch off, they'll be out of this tournament again. If they don't, they've got a great chance.
Okay, what a game it is in prospect as well. 4 years ago, it was a very tense semi-final between these two. Finished 1-0 on aggregate, a deflected Gareth Bale drive, which settled it. It's a very long time that's passed since then. Very different set of circumstances facing them. 90 minutes in the Bernabeu, as they say, is a long time in football.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.